So Sean is having a love surge right now, and he's gonna wrap around
Look
me.
at these losers.
What is wrong? You need to take off the scale!
Another 100,000, so I appreciate your loyalty.
Let's not pretend that I'm not the one that paid for the Range Rover. Let's not pretend that I'm the one that paid for this whole life that we live.
Where you at,
The
Berto?
epidemic of performative couples.
Want to see the cringiest, most coupley thing ever? This is called a love surge. And we do this when one of us has like so much love in our limbs that we can't contain it and feel
So much love in your limbs. Oh my God. This one's gonna be a fun one. Make sure y'all tap into the Twitch stream so you never miss a live reaction. That's Where You At, Berto. Come on, man.
Where you at, Berto? We're gonna explode. So Sean is having a love surge right now, and he's gonna wrap around
Look
me
at these fucking
and
losers.
shake with the electricity of love
Holy.
until I catch it too and start shaking, and then you explode with a love surge.
Weirdo. Weirdo.
Cringy.
One thing I can appreciate about that clip is the self-awareness, because I'm glad she acknowledged that that shit was corny as hell. But believe it or not, as corny as it may be, there's millions of people out there who are tuning in for this type of content. The most obviously staged, performative,
setup,
corny
Shams.
content. I mean, some of this stuff will even give romantic novels a run for their money. And I think the most insane part about this whole thing is that people actually believe clips like this.
And then we were in the car and he was like, okay, well, not this upcoming.
Yeah, go ahead and leave that man, bro. I mean, unless you're into sweetness, I cannot believe I'm witnessing a male twirl his fingers in this girl's hair, bro. Whoa, it's crazy we live on the same planet as some people, man.
weekend, but next weekend. So we set a day for 2 weekends, 2 weeks in advance. What he did, right?
Least obvious engagement farming, by the way. Like, let's be honest, bro knows that the women in the comments are gonna be like, oh my
Blood
God,
Wolf, what
girl,
up, my
he's
boy?
so in love with you. If he doesn't look at me like that, I don't want it. And I'm not even exaggerating either. That's literally how a lot of their comment sections look. Yo, bro, record me looking at her like I'm really in love and you know, I'm so infatuated with her. I low-key wouldn't be surprised if he literally gave the phone to the camera person and told him, yeah, get me looking at her while she's talking like I'm so in love with her, you know, she's got me in this trance. And just look at all the women in the comments falling for this hook, line, and sinker. Girl, whatever you said,
You know what's crazy about this? Like, on some real spill, I'm not mad at any brother that admires his woman. If anything, you should be admiring your queen. But I promise you, I guarantee you act like this IRL, she's looking at you like,
Weirdo.
back up. You're clingy, you're cringy. Watch out, I promise you. Nobody wants them and their partner to be this clingy, bro. Like, this is like some movie shit. Like, obviously it's cool in a wholesome moment. Your girl say some real cute shit, you know, you look at her with that love in your eyes, like, but when it's just like this 24/7, just imagine you just constantly looking over at your partner and they're just 24/7. I promise you they not gonna like that, bro.
he did not hear it. He got 20 birds flying around his head. So this is love. I need a man that looks at me like this. See? They actually genuinely believe this, bro. That's all I want. The love in his eyes for you. And you know, putting aside the fact that they obviously know that the camera's recording, I might actually believe this once or twice. But when your whole page is filled with content that looks like a scene that's straight out of a romantic novel, I'm sorry, I'm not falling for that. And you know, if this was one of those things like WWE where everybody knows it's fake, but it's entertaining and there's like unexpected outcomes sometimes, and you know, it's planned really well, so it's enjoyable, I totally understand. But no, there's people who fall for this type of content, hook, line, and sinker. That's part of the reason why these couple pages are so popular. When it comes to social media, there's obviously a plethora of different types of content. You got the gaming content, you got the gooner content, you got the family channels, you got the comedic content, and then of course you have the couples content. These couples who basically record their day-to-day lives and showcase how much they care about each other, all the things they do for one another, how deeply in love and infatuated they are with one another. Some popular white couples include Megan and Jack, Austin and Lexi, Sam and Monica, and then on the black side of couples content, we got De'Ara and Ken, Chris and Queen, Neek and King.
The thing about the black side of the content creator couples content, I don't consume any of this, but obviously whenever I'm scrolling on the internet, it pops up on my feed every once in a while. And I feel like they'd be a little bit more realistic with it. Like, they do little pranks here and there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they might show a couple of cringy things, but they also show like the, man, you're annoying me, watch out side of the relationship, where I be thinking that's cool.
Desmond and Christy, mind you, none of them are still together to this day. And it's crazy because there's a huge portion of these people's fans who actually are surprised that they're no longer together. They're actually surprised that the fake perfect couple persona that they portray online isn't real. And I don't know if it's because their avid viewers live vicariously through them. Like, they genuinely delude themselves into believing that whatever they see on camera is truly how that relationship functions. But the thing is, one of these couples will break up and you'll have people in the comments talking about, oh, I don't believe in love anymore. I lost all hope in love. As if they think that real relationships are like this melodramatic act that they're seeing on their screens. Brief intermission, y'all. I'm here with an opportunity
Get your money. Wait, hold on. I know you guys usually skip this part of the video, but give me 1 second. I want to put you guys on real quick on a way to make some extra money that is 100% legit, and you could do it all from your phone. TesterUp is a platform that works with games to find new users just like you to test their games out. These apps and games are willing to pay new users to get on their platform because 9 times out of 10, they genuinely actually like playing the game. And the app in return ends up making money because you're playing the game that they paid you to play. I know that sounds a little bit too good to be true, but this is why I'm breaking it down for you so you understand the business behind it and how it works. TesterUp helps put money back in your pocket that these platforms are willing to pay for new users. So if you already like playing games on your phone, click the link in the description or use the QR code on the screen. You're gonna make a free account. It's completely free to do, and you can start making $10 to $20 off of games that you already love playing. This isn't a get rich quick scheme, so it's full transparency here, but if you're dedicated enough and you like playing games on your phone, there's people already making hundreds of dollars as well. Again, it's completely free to try. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description. Check it out and make some extra cash.
Example of what I'm talking about is Christy and Desmond, the huge internet couple who recently broke up. And honestly, after seeing clips like this, I don't even know why people are surprised that they broke up. I could have seen that shit coming from like 10 miles away.
Christy.
Compilation of Desmond's laugh. There's no way he laughs like that in IRL. No way. I refuse to believe it.
Christy. Christy, are those tongues?
I'm sorry, but at some point that had to have
Bro, fuck no.
Weirdo.
Ain't no way.
gotten exhausting. Because imagine every single day for years on end, over and over again, you're getting hit with similar pranks and you gotta walk into a room or walk into your car and act like you don't see the camera that's low-key right in front of your face. You gotta pretend like you're not expecting the prank that your partner does about the same time every single week. And on top of that, you gotta act like the joke that was said or made or the prank that was done on you is still as entertaining or funny as the first time it was done. I'm sorry, but unless you're some sort of A-tier trained actor, I don't think a normal person can keep this act up indefinitely. But all that aside, I genuinely do feel like you have to have a certain level of delusion to actually be entertained and believe this level of acting.
Hey babe, are you coming out here? Okay, let's see how long I can keep my hand here while the window goes up.
You can't do that, you're gonna hurt you, break your fingers.
Here's what I'll say. This shit is cringe as hell, but because I know how TikTok works and I've had my fair share of being a TikTok influencer and making skits and whatnot, mind you, again, I'm talking from experience. I used to have a TikTok page that we ran up to like 3 million followers. People are watching this. People are paying for this. And it's just kind of like, if this is how you get your money, bro. Get your money. You know what I'm saying? But I will say why I don't make TikTok content anymore, because it's like I'd rather be known and blow up for being myself and being authentic. I couldn't keep up with the cringy bullshit no more. I couldn't keep up with the fake skits that, you know, that are showing a fake side of my personality that's not really me. Like, it's just not for me. I'd rather it be a slow grind and, you know, build my audience brick by brick. You know what I'm saying? And let people rock with me for me and who I really am as a person. But if this is how you get your money and you don't lose no sleep at night, hey man, do what you do. But that don't mean we not gonna point and laugh though.
Okay, so dude walks into the garage. She literally explains exactly what she's gonna do, which, keep in mind, it sounds absolutely dangerous. So if he wanted to prevent it, he would have prevented it right there. He then proceeds to let her do it, but it seems like it failed the first time because the car seems to have some sort of safety feature that prevents her hand from being stuck. Whole time dude is still standing there, by the way, letting her proceed. And then he goes on to say, you can't do that, you're gonna break your finger. And I think like he went off script there and he had to get back on track. The scene switches to the camera that's behind him, and he low-key tilts his head, but not all the way so he doesn't make eye contact with the camera. And then he has to do the same oh no type of reaction when her fingers apparently get chopped off. Like, bro, this is WWE level acting right here. And there's more.
What is wrong? You need to take off the scales!
When will this stop?
Again, digital footprint of doom. And now they're broken up. You know what I'm saying? They're not even together no more. The money's shortening up, and it's just like you just have years and years worth of content of you just looking like a fucking weirdo. You know what I'm saying? It's just, hey man, get your money how you get it, but boy, that's your legacy, man. You know what I'm saying? That's your legacy. I don't want that to be my legacy, bro.
Was he trying to send us subliminal messages? And it's crazy because at some point it became so apparent to see the point where he became completely fed up with the process of making content with his wife. I ain't gonna lie, dude was looking like he couldn't stand her ass. Yeah. And the thing is, his little default laugh started becoming harder and harder to watch. Like, this dude will go from being dead serious to hysterically laughing with no in between. And for avid laughers like myself, you know that when you laugh, there's low-key a buildup. At first the joke sets in, you know, your brain is processing it, and then you giggle a little bit, and then you start laughing, and then there's like the peak of the laughter where like the jokes set in and like you complete.
They were making more than $100,000 a month for that money. I'm doing that too. And that's why I say it's like, bruh, if that's how you get your chicken, I really can't knock you down. Appreciate the follow, but it's kind of like, as a content creator and wanting to have longevity in this space, I'd rather just be me. I'd rather make less money being me, because yeah, you make all that money, but you see what happens. You get tired of keeping up the act. You get tired of playing this character that's just ultimately corny. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, and then what do you do now? The money dries up. You're not making $100,000 a month anymore, but you live in $100,000 a month lifestyle. Now what do? Now I'm depressed. Now I'm looking at myself in the mirror like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
You internalize it, and then you slowly like taper off. You don't go 0 to 100 like this. You see how that low-key looks crazy? And see, there's this thing that I think that people who are chronically online tend to suffer from, and it's something called object permanence. And just to explain object permanence a little bit, it's something that babies have where if they don't see an object or a person, they think it doesn't exist. That's why babies find things like peekaboo so entertaining or sometimes shocking, because you're literally disappearing and then reappearing. But the point I'm trying to make here is that these adults suffer from the same thing. They think because they don't see these couples arguing that their arguments don't exist. They think that since every time they see them, they're portraying this perfect relationship, that's how their whole relationship is.
And that's why relationship content's so tricky. Like, for a long time, I'm not in a relationship right now, but it's like, you know, every time I do have a little bit of a situation, I be wanting to bring y'all that type of content, you know, the boy girl content, and give y'all that dynamic. But at the same time, you start putting too much shit on the internet, bro, it's like, it always gets weird, because now you kind of always are in this weird place like, am I doing this for my relationship or am I doing this for content? And then the lines start to get so blurry. Now you wondering like, is my relationship even real? Is my relationship even authentic? Or are we just a goddamn content mule? You know, and I feel like I'm not judging nobody that makes relationship content, because I feel like if you guys are disciplined and mature enough, you know, you can find that balance. But that's why we always do see a lot of times them relationship couples, it does end messy and in tragedy, because it's like, I think it's hard to keep everything genuine.
But in all honesty, if more of these internet couples were transparent, this is some of the things you would see.
Babe, don't touch me in places when I'm recording. don't even use it because that's weird, babe. We cater to families.
And I think another thing that people need to acknowledge is that at some point these couple pages don't just become about the relationship. Sure, they might start that way, but at some point it becomes a business. Because when you include the views, the sponsorships, and all the above, these couple pages can easily be bringing in millions. So I definitely feel like there gets to a point in the relationship where there's a crossroad. Do we record every second of our day and make content out of it so we can make this money? Or do we try to preserve our relationship and keep it authentic? And of course, there's probably a balance between the two, but I can only imagine it being very difficult to try to maintain that balance, especially as they gain popularity and more opportunities start to present themselves. Like, I can't imagine trying to have an intimate moment with my girl and then like there's a camera right there and maybe we didn't do something right or it didn't turn out as well as it could have, so we gotta rerun it. Or maybe there wasn't even a camera involved to begin with, but we reenact it so we can get it on camera. And then imagine having to do multiple takes. Those relationships are probably extremely stressful. And I think the archetype of internet relationship that I hate the most is the interracial couple. Whether it's a black man with a non-black woman, where you have a bunch of weird black men in the comments talking about, yeah, if it's not snowing, I'm not going, or go where you're loved. Or the other side where it's a black woman and then a non-black man. And then you have black women in the comments who are congratulating her, praising her for not being with a black man. I think that's very weird behavior. We've already had a content creator get exposed for playing into this harmful narrative. This content creator's whole spiel was that she was a single mother of two, and then this white man came and married her and basically acted like her savior. And then she would later on expose that she was basically funding the whole relationship, paying for everything.
Deposit on our house. Let's not pretend that I'm not the one that paid for the Range Rover. Let's not pretend that I'm the one that paid for this whole fucking life that we live. Let's not pretend that. Let's not pretend.
And hey, man, if she's bred it up and she chooses to be in a relationship with him, it's not crazy that she's paying for stuff. But see, that whole relationship got really weird when he did this. Reminder to take care of your families or men like us will. And then he
Whoa. What do you mean by that, brother? What the fuck do you mean by that, actually?
Weirdo.
What are you trying to say?
proceeds to show a bunch of white men. Oh, brother. Way to feed into harmful stereotypes. And I think the only other internet archetype that might be just as bad is the pandering boyfriend or husband archetype. These relationship pages where the man will basically act holier than thou, pander up and down to women, and set some of the most unrealistic standards for the regular average man. Dude will post stuff like this and women will eat it up.
First, 100,000. Say I love you. Another 100,000 to appreciate your loyalty.
Who are you, Bill Gates? Nah, what? You just handed out 100 bands? 200 bands at that, and it look like you keep going? Who is this guy?
Another 100,000 because you're an excellent mother.
Oh.
And hey, hold on, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm passing 300 bands and counting to my girl, and she's just talking about some, man, if you don't get the fuck up and start jumping for joy, doing some jumping jacks of excitement or some shit, hell nah. You gonna piss me off, man. I'm giving you way too much money for you to be still sitting here on this couch. You better show some goddamn appreciation.
And 50,000 just in case you want to splurge on me or something.
She got a baby on her arms, man. You think I give any actual shits that she has a baby in her arms? Man, I just gave her the baby's goddamn college tuition. She need to get her ass up and show some appreciation, man. Stop playing with me.
I love you from the bottom of your feet to the top of your
This is sucker
The thing
activity.
is, a lot of times this type of content is extremely disingenuous and extremely disrespectful to regular hard-working men. Because no, your average man isn't gonna have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in the bank to give away to their significant other. That is by no means realistic. But the men in these internet relationships will try to make it seem like that's the norm, that's the standard. And they largely do this because they know that women will bite. It'll get the views. Women will be in the comments like, yes, that's a real man right there. When I would argue that the man that's working his ass off to
That's so obviously like prop money. Like, I know I just gave y'all a little bit and talking shit, but like anybody that's falling for this, again, get your money how you get your money, but it's so disingenuous. Like, the content is obviously so fake.
Provide for his family is just as much of a man, if not more. But with that being said though, that's really my biggest
W video by that boy 4D Shans. Y'all appreciate y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Are there any couple content creators that you guys are watching that are actually cool? You know what I'm saying? I'm not judging y'all. It is what it is. If that's your cup of tea, that's your cup of tea. But, you know, it's kind of like, don't idolize relationships online, especially when half of the stuff be performative and fake. You know what I'm saying? Real relationships, you know, come with problems and controversy and, you know, a lot of compromising. So, you know, it's what is portrayed online a lot of times isn't really how it goes down.
Where you at, Berto? I made this shit look sweet.